We're going to give you the most likely scenario statistically according to the numbers. Our story will fit that of nearly 30 million women here in America. 30 million. And also, I'm going to let you know, even though this is specifically on girls, the fact is that once you realize how appalling these numbers are for women, maybe you'll stop to understand that all of these statistics, with the exception of one, are more likely for men. So, statistically, there are a lot more services for women than there are for men, a lot more sympathy for women than there is for men, a lot more likelihood of being heard. Now, what happens statistically when you are molested? Statistically, when you are raped or molested, it starts off as a child, and typically, as a child, it is going to be your dad. Statistically, before you go to the police or go to your guidance counselor, you're going to try telling a friend or family member. This is your trusted adult or your trusted friend. Now, this right here is where it becomes the situation where you cut, where you show outward appearances of being abused. See, cutting on your wrists with Lady Bic so that it's just scraping, that is not just an attention-seeking behavior, which is how you treat it. Like, this is just a mentally ill person trying to get attention. They are trying to get attention, there's a reason, though. And it's that mentally ill part that our predators play on. You've got suicidal ideations. You must be stopped from hurting yourself. No. They don't need stopped from hurting themselves. They need help stopping others from hurting them. It's not just the physical abuse, either the beatings or the rapes. It's also the neglect, which is also abuse, by your trusted adult. So, statistically, what happens when your mother blows you off and you scrape with Lady Bic? Statistically, the police show up and they arrest you. Well, it's not quite arrest, it's forced removal from the home, where you're taken to a hospital where they tell you that you have suicidal ideations, and for the rest of your life, the term mentally ill makes you a target. Your dad can rape you whenever he wants. Statistically, girls can only hold out in an institution about 2 weeks before they go, you know what, fuck it, I'm scared here. They've got me all doped up on medications. I can't see my friends or loved ones. Statistically, when they get out, their family is already run around to everybody saying that you're crazy, but you're better now, that you were schizophrenic and delusional, and this is how it's going to be played off for the rest of your life, that you're schizophrenic and delusional because you told on your dad and nobody fucking cared. Not the mandated reporters, not your friends, nobody. Not your mom. Statistically, girls are 5 times more likely to cut themselves than boys. However, boys are 5 times more likely to kill themselves than girls, starting at the age of 15. That's because girls, they're taught that they might get attention. And it starts off as the attention-seeking behavior of cutting your wrists. For a guy, he tells somebody about the abuse. He's treated as if he is not a man anymore. He's damaged goods. He should be thrown away. And a lot of women that I know who have been raped have told me they feel the same way. It's a very scary life to be in. Now there's a message that said this message is held for review. So I'm going to see what it says. Oh, it's someone calling himself John Ellis, typing, "You have a low IQ." This is something that, well, if you want to piss off an intelligent person, insult their intelligence. You can go ahead and insult my intelligence all you want. You can do that all you want. However, you do not get to slander me in police reports or in court documents or in the courts. You wanting to be a troll and type that I have a low IQ, that's all on you, and there's a reason it's on review. It's bullying. On the bright side, I bully back. Stupid people calling me stupid is really no sweat off my fucking back. Anyway, I'm still out here at the mercy of these officers. I'm going to have to think long and hard about an officer that might be able to help me. And I might have to ask some of the other homeless people. Although they seem to think absolutely no cop is worth talking to here. There is, I believe, a town called Ribaldi where I told there's a cop that's pretty alright. And also there's supposed to be one in Bay City. Obviously, I am neither in Ribaldi or, Garibaldi, I'm sorry, or Bay City. So that's kind of tough. In a lot of situations, people were able to utilize the fact that they had property and I didn't, to try to manipulate me into doing what they wanted, instead of doing the legally obligated thing to do and the morally right thing to do. You know, when people were telling me stuff that they weren't telling the police, and I was letting them know, don't tell me anything that you won't tell the police. And if you won't help me turn it into the police, or the police won't listen, I will go public with it. And people seemed to think that I was kidding. And then when I kept my word, they wanted to pretend like I was a monster. Whew! Something in store for you. See, here's how people wanted to interpret when I was being abused and reaching out for help. And then later when I was literally screaming at the top of my lungs for help. Not their problem. That's just me being negative. I'm only asking for help because I'm trying to destroy their lives somehow. What horrible shit. Statistically, that girl is going to give up after 2 weeks. She's going to get dismissed with the mentally ill tag, and a lot of her friends are going to invite her to go do things less and less because she's negative. But she's now known as a liar and a fibber, and there's horrible things that you don't say about a person if they didn't do it. And she was schizophrenic enough to go run around saying that stuff. Well, now she has to cut herself more often and deeper to try to get heard, and it still never works. But it is the one thing that gets the McGruff scenario to go down. And that McGruff scenario is that the police come in and they're supposed to do something about it. But they're not gonna, because you're called mentally ill. Your parents called you mentally ill. Your mom didn't back you up or didn't listen. Or you told a sibling who just stares at you funny. Like with my older brother Eric, up in Washington State. I was living with my dad. This is right after he got custody of us. Well, custody of me. He'd had custody of Eric over a year by that point. And, well, we're not women, are we? I suppose I should get back to the girls go through this. Get back on track a little bit. So those girls, they cut themselves more often. It's still in exposed areas, but they're also afraid. They're afraid that somebody will see it. So you put on the long sleeve shirt so that when you wrap it up with toilet paper and some masking tape, home bandage it so that people see it, but you keep your long sleeve shirt on, and then once in a while you pull it up to scratch your arm, hoping that somebody that's your friend will see it and realize there's a major problem. You're trying to signal to your friends that there's a problem. Here's the thing with all of these abduction signals that people are sharing. Not very many people are sharing them. You know what sign of abuse at home is? Those cuts on your wrist, those cuts on your arms, that toilet paper with the tape, that is a sign of abuse at home. Here is my recommendation for girls. This won't work for boys, but it will work in many cases for girls. I only know this because I know a girl who did it. You take a gauze pad or the toilet paper and you tape it around your wrist. No scraping, no Lady Bic. No cutting, no nothing. Just the gauze around your wrist. And when you walk in, you go into your guidance counselor and you pull up your wrist so that it can be seen that you have the gauze or the toilet paper taped there. When they call someone in, you show them that there is no cut and that there is no scrape, that there is no universal symbol for please, I need help. The universal symbol for girls being abused long term is to cut on themselves, and eventually gets to the point where nobody listens and they're always wearing long sleeve shirts because they don't want to hear the comments about, oh my God, you cut on yourself, you're mentally ill. What's wrong with you? That's really gross. That's really gross that you do that. So then they're shamed for that universal symbol of please God help me, someone help me, please someone hear me, please. Why did I listen to that cartoon fucking dog, McGruff? Yeah, not funny. There's another message held for you. He typed, "You, sir, are an idiot." Why, thank you, sir. You are correct, sir. I agree with you, sir. I am a fucking moron, John Ellis. Now I have the option of showing it or hiding it. Do stuff like this. When I'm in an overwhelming situation, it's difficult to stay on track. But I do try to give people, well, I like to explain what's going on because it's actually happening. Guy calls himself John Ellis. He probably made the account today. A lot of people do this. Now, whether it's just 5 or 6 people making hundreds of accounts or hundreds of people independently doing it, I don't know. I know there's a large volume of it. I also know that if the lady at the Department of Health and Human Services does her job properly on Monday, and we're able to make it there by Monday with the evidence, that there's enough evidence that I can show them in a single day, as long as I have a full day to do it and a place to sit down and work on it. As long as they're there in person, I can show them in a single day enough to get the FBI involved. That's because I can show the harm against me by my predators across multiple jurisdictions and multiple states. I can show that I attempted to go the proper route, and rather than doing their job, they wanted to pussyfoot around with it for as long as possible. Tara Smith in Nebraska, rather than do her job, wanted to outright go out of her way to not do her job, to blow smoke up my ass, and then to do literally nothing about the situation or to help collect the evidence. Meanwhile, there's multiple situations where I did try to set it up to turn in evidence to the Dual County Sheriff's Department. Laura Nelson did not think that was a very good idea. Neither did Nicole Knudsen. People say to let it go when you're abused by police because you don't have an option. They can do whatever the fuck they want, and we all know it. And because I'm homeless and I don't matter, they won't treat me well. You know why Nicole Knudsen won't throw me away as a friend? Because I'm telling the truth and she knows it. You know why she won't help me? Because she thinks I'll be hurt if she tries. People are hurting me because she doesn't. She's adamant about how people will hurt me. And they already are. I've been hurt financially to the point that I literally cannot take care of myself. All of my disability money, which was supposed to be to take care of me as a disabled person, has been taken away from me because none of the mandated reporters have done their jobs. They're supposed to do it right away. Did the lady at Social Services office have law enforcement or somebody from APS show up and help with the evidence? No. But we did have a room there that we were able to sit down in for a little bit. Now, as far as getting the process started, it takes several days of making phone calls and filling out paperwork and a lot of things like that in a safe environment in order to get the process started. But once you've got the process started, it's just maintenance. But it's not maintenance when you never get the process started. This John Ellis feller probably made another comment because it says this message is held for a view message. He typed your retard money. What swell fellers. Now that's one of the issues with having to make it live because people, and also one of the issues with deciding to allow people to actually type on my channel because there might be somebody who's actually willing to help how I need. One thing that needs to be noted about my predators is that when they wanted to play victim, I got as far away from them as I fucking could. And a lot of people gave me that advice. Like, hey man, you just need to move somewhere else. You just need to move somewhere else. You know what? Every time I move, I have to move away from anything that I might possibly have in that area. Any future that I might possibly have. And I have to start over with nothing in the next place that I move to. Allowing the public to harm me repeatedly because I don't have the money to take care of myself now, because all of my back payments for disability ended up going to pay for a bunch of other shit. It all went to people who took advantage of me because there was no oversight. There was no one to protect my rights or to make sure that as a vulnerable adult that my rights weren't violated. I'm treated like because I'm intelligent, I should be able to magic up everything that I need. And it doesn't work that way. I don't have magic. Having a high IQ does not come with a nuclear physics degree, and neither does age. So when you say at your age you should know better, understand that at my age I do know better. And I knew better a long time ago. I had to be responsible for other people's actions most of my life. And then when you say, oh, you need to be held accountable for your actions. I am held accountable for my actions. I admit my actions. I fess up to my actions. When people say, hey, Sean, look, you did this and you did that and you never fessed up to it. I'm like, shit. That's something that I typed on my fucking timeline publicly. Are you fucking retarded? So, of course, there's the your retard money comment by this person, this troll. Rather than this being done in court, I've had to try to get this information to the public while the American public are literally just a bunch of shitty fucking excuses for human beings. With few exceptions. But thank goodness for the Americans that aren't complete and total pieces of crap. However, where are they? The evidence shows that mandated reporters that I had gone to, friends and family and police officers, all had more to gain from hiding the truth than from telling it in their own minds. When each of these people thought they could manipulate me, threaten me, or torture me into submission, well, what they weren't understanding is how much I love my loved ones, how much I love my friends and family, and what I'm willing to go through to make sure that they're safe long after I'm gone. I don't want what happened to Natalie Bollinger happening to Alicia Bollinger. I don't want that happening to my little sister. I don't want that happening to Leslie Snell. I don't want those things to happen to people, even if they took advantage of me. Even if they slandered my name. That doesn't mean that I'm not willing to threaten people back if they threaten to do that stuff over and over again. You look at the sheer quantity of threats against my life over a long period of time before I ever threatened anyone back. Would you guys want to play word games? Grossly go out of your way to reinterpret or misinterpret anything that I'm trying to tell you. It's a complicated situation. Leslie Snell brought her children into this situation, and as a result of her bringing her children into this situation, her children need to be interviewed about this abuse. We need to find out where it came from, where it started, and why. And then we need to actually investigate the validity of it. Not go, oh, well, Leslie Snell has titties, she's got blonde hair and blue eyes, she's got a husband and kids, and she's got a job at the courthouse, so she's a good person. She must be telling the truth. It's okay to threaten, harass, and intimidate the retard. While I have to understand the legal ramifications of all of this, and I have to try to explain to these people the legal ramifications of these things, they talk over me. They lie to me about it. Sheriff's Department, Police Department, DA's office, all of them. Now here's the thing, that girl is going to become an adult someday. She's still going to have those cuts on her. That girl eventually gets to the point where she starts cutting on her thighs and on her belly. Deep cuts now. They're not for anyone to see. And then make deep scars. I've got pictures of Anna Hunka's legs before she died. She was a deep cutter. Statistically, when you tell on your predator, they try to pretend that you're a sexual predator. All right, somebody is circling around my vehicle. He's done it twice. I wonder who it is. Oh. Nice vehicle, huh? For boys, you don't get a second chance. For boys, they don't cut on themselves for attention when they tell you people are harming me. No, it's number one, they tell you that people are harming them. Number two, they tell probably their best friend that they want to die. Their best friend doesn't take the not-so-subtle hint of I am being abused to the point that I cannot handle being alive anymore. Your friend either helps you to stop the abuse and listens to you, or a boy's only other option. It's not cutting on ourselves, it's just taking ourselves out of the race, so to speak. Boys commit suicide at 5 times the rate of girls for a reason. Let me tell you what happened to that girl who put the gauze around her wrist and taped it on there and went to school. And she went up to the front desk because the guidance counselor there was also the receptionist. And she walked up and she pulled up her sleeve and she nodded at the guidance counselor when the guidance counselor looked over to her. She nodded at her, and the guidance counselor saw the gauze on the wrist, immediately called the police. The police showed up, and they did try the suicidal ideations thing, and she explained, hey, this is the only way I can get your attention. My dad's raping me. I didn't want to draw a bunch of attention in class or anything like that. We're all three together in an office here. The guidance counselor is here, the police are here, and I am here, and you can listen to what I have to say. She was smart enough to con them into doing their jobs. And that is literally what you have to do. You have to con these pigs into doing their jobs. You can call Child Protective Services yourself. But keep in mind, a lot of people who work for the government are lazy. If it's easier to just throw you away, here's what's going to happen. You're going to have to go home so you can see your friends and family. But your friends and family are different now, because you had to pretend like you lied. And now that you pretended like you lied, they're all going to treat you like you're a liar for the rest of your life. You're going to likely go into the system over and over and over again because of the way that your friends and family treat you when you're abused. Your dad is likely to have a honeymoon period where he's being nice to you for 2 to 3 weeks to up to a month after the initial coming home series. A lot of guys get real cocky after they get away with it, though. And as soon as you get home, they yell at you, and every opportunity they get, they want to berate you, especially in front of the family, of what a horrible person that you are. They're not going to berate you like that in private. That's a show for the other people in the house. We have taught police officers how to be predatory, and we have given them the power to get away with it, to make it their word versus their victims. And then we're forced to go to our rapists to try to turn them in. When we're in a state of panic and we can't communicate properly, they're going to use that to harm us. We're afraid. Instead of doing things to build trust and earn our trust, they lie to us. So that girl, when she turns 18, is statistically the most likely woman to end up homeless. She is statistically the number one most likely girl to end up homeless. And this is even given the fact that the majority, over 95% of the monetary resources that are going to assist people who are in the system who turned 18, 95% of that money goes to females. The boys, the programs are supposed to help us just as much, but the people who are in the system tend to spend more time, and a lot more time, assisting girls because we feel sorry for girls. We all have the predisposition to help girls first. And like that lady said today, the disabled are highly neglected. That they spend so much time on children and the disabled that we're forgotten. %3 battery, so I gotta end this, or actually no, this brick, hold on. That'll work. At least for a minute or two. Battery low, 3% charge. All of this because the mandated reporters from before Natalie died didn't want to do their fucking jobs. None of the mandated reporters in Chesapeake, Virginia. None of the mandated reporters in Boulder, Colorado. None of the mandated reporters in Broomfield, Colorado. None of the mandated reporters in Englewood, Colorado. None of the mandated reporters in Arapahoe County, Colorado. None of the mandated reporters in Adams County, Colorado. None of the mandated reporters in Paxton, Colorado. None of the mandated reporters in Johnstown, Colorado. None of the mandated reporters in Boulder County, the entire county of Boulder, not just the city itself. Every mandated reporter failed to do their duty. The same thing in Denver. Same thing in Aurora. Every single mandated reporter failed to do their duty. Every officer, every nurse, every therapist, every case manager, every single one of them failed to do their legally required duty as a mandated reporter before Natalie was killed and after. And we still haven't gotten the protocol followed because we still need to find an officer. An officer who will do his job and do his duty instead of threatening the victim. I gotta end this and turn off my phone and let it charge. Adios, assholes. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper, and your sister's too, and no victim left behind. I'll have to make a part 2 for this video.